the speaker would not really forgive its mind if it didn't summarize this whole being here in front of the screen, trying to get to grips with something unbelievably colossal. To try and share that what is unshareable, even in a minimal sense, is seen as a kind of foolishness. But it's totally relevant to that what truly gets it. Not what the speaker speaks about, the journey or the summary or the whole ultimate dissolution of the speaker in its original state to be reborn. But what Jiddu Krishnamurti says, the words are the obstacles. The meanings of the words are suffering. That what is seen within the words, meaning the essence, the sounds, that connecting moment, is all that we are here to share. The information is of no use to you. The stories, fluctuating energies. So the need to take all of these sessions and try with the utmost to reach a mind of simple nature. But one has to make the effort. I don't know how to do this. Consciousness will try its best to make the transition of this into something recognizable, readable, bearable. But it's okay if you don't go any further with this. Because what the speaker knows is every single human being has a mind that is truly, truly miraculous and expandable. It can reach limits that have not been touched on in most human beings' lives. But the speaker also says, but it's not up to me. It's not up to anyone. It's not up to God. It's not up to Buddha. It's not up to Christ. It's up to that what dwells within your body as the true you, the Sadguru of you. I want to start this off with a question, but it's not a question to you. It's not a question that this one feels it can answer. It's an open question. Does the mind, the ego mind, die in the shock of seeing something that has never been witnessed? Seeing meaning not through the eyes, experiencing that has never been touched upon by another quality of mind? Does the ego die with the shock and is dissolved so that the person disappears and thinks it is one with the world? It is just like the steam in the kettle mixed with the whole of this atmosphere? Or is it a new-born expansion of the existing whole mind? Meaning, ego is put to the side temporarily so that this, whatever it is, this mind can expand and meet the requirements to try and get to grips with this undescribable experience. If so, if it's the second, that mind has to give itself time to create a new language through the wisdom of consciousness, saying, okay, we have to take the ego mind aside to allow this new mind, what Christ calls rebirth. Now you have to remember that all of this is evolving this, what we are, mind. Consciousness is just a way of understanding. Not even of understanding. Consciousness is just a way of being. It is a way of existing. It's 100% been fixed and put into whatever this is, this whole cosmos of stuff, to hold it together, to stick it together, to give life an essence, to give it a beginning. The mind is evolved from this consciousness. The mind simply is here to try and understand its own consciousness, its own reason for giving birth to itself as whatever this is. Because the first comment from the voice, when the abyss was revealed and everything just fell, was only consciousness exists. No more questions. You see, what spoke this? What started this ball rolling? Because most minds won't settle for this, because they want to know about, am I consciousness? Because the voice doesn't say you are conscious, you are something other than what consciousness is, and only consciousness exists. I mean, then there's a witness of you wanting to understand if you are this consciousness or if you are something out of the screen of consciousness. But let's go to the expansion of mind. Let's go to the situation. Each one of us have a quality of mind that has been inherited. It is a passed down informative way of language, of thoughts, which are made up of language, which are made up of others in the past, emotional experiences, sensory knowledge, spiritual experiences, religious experiences, scientific experiences, human experiences, Neanderthal experiences for some, primitive experiences, past experiences. We have a mind that we take for granted and we use it very efficiently to go through life in whatever way it is that this past suggests you go life as. Now, with this quality of mind, this conditioned inherited mind, you will never know anything worthwhile other than that. You see, there's nothing wrong. That is worthwhile. This being here is worthwhile. With an ego mind, an I am, an identity, words and everything is worthwhile. But you will never know anything more worthwhile or true until you outgrow this mind, this quality of inherited mind. Now, to outgrow it doesn't mean you have to remove it. It means question that what is unquestionable. I made a wonderful video which is completely missed because it has no point, called Examine the Unexaminable. It's stupid to this inherited mind because the educational system says you won't know anything other than what you perceive, than what you've been told, than what you have understood in the dictionary of meanings. So you're moving out of meaning to find the unexaminable. Now, in a second part of this, I'm going to finalize this by giving you the tools to understand what this method is, or practice, to examine the unexaminable. And in this examination, you are ignoring Ramana Maharshi, Nadi Nadi, everything about what this old, stale, inherited original mind is. If you feel this is your dharma, this is your way to move and into the expansion of another version of mind, and it's not an overall version of mind. So you're not going to learn anything about anyone else, or any other mind, or any past mind, or any future mind. You're only examining the quality of your whole self within the mind that is plausible for you to expand on, to understand the wisdom. Because intelligence is this inherited conditioned mind. It's a very intelligent mind we use. We can create spaceships and buildings, and we can create vaccines for viruses. We have such an intelligent mind. But is this the only quality of mind that humans are here to live with? Or is there something out with this? Now, I'm not one of these theorists or philosophers or futuristic fifth dimension, sixth dimension, because whatever takes place in any quality of mind is in the present moment. The future is the biggest mistake. I'm going to be enlightened in 5 years' time. I'm going to be married in 2 years' time. What's happening now? This is the clue, which will be revealed as this method in part 2. Now, how does the speaker know? The speaker doesn't know the answer to either of the questions, whether it's an abomination, abolition of ego and mind, because it can be, because the speaker has now remembered its name. It has remembered its old style stuff. It has remembered its information, its intelligence that was really just ways to get by, and is really of no longer any use, because the wisdom supersedes that intelligence. For this one, no effect on any other being, no effect on any of this life, this world, because this is an intelligent world. In here is a wise world. So that all that is needed is this wisdom to understand that when this body is existing, and this body will eventually pass, that this wisdom will supersede the intelligence, and therefore the next stage will be a more wise stage. That's all. Your mind can prefer intelligence. Your mind can prefer this human challenge. Your mind can prefer... I'm quite happy with this. I'm quite happy. I take on board the suffering. I take on board the depression. If I can supersede it and move on, then fine. I will continue to grow in this intelligent mind. But there are some who are mistakenly, for this one, revealed some sort of thing, some sort of shock, to suggest, well, look at this. Now, how do you know? This is the point of this whole video. I hope you've remained to this point, because this is a really important point. How do you know that shock is not a part of intelligence? Because the shock of awakening and this joy of bliss and enlightenment for the mind, this newborn mind, to understand the wisdom behind this awakening, does not bear, the shock does not bear any information connected to the intelligence. How do you know that? Because intelligence knows everything about this world, in the language, in the thoughts, because it is learned intelligence. It is inherited intelligence. So if the shock was an angel, it would be an intelligent shock. It would be an old-style mind shock, because the mind can perceive angel. It knows the word angel. It knows how to spell the word angel. It knows the symbols of the words. It knows that it may have wings. It would probably be male, Michael, archangels, Gabriel. It may have femininity. It may have wings. It may have a beautiful white dress and a veil. This is information from the intelligent mind. So the shock bears no resemblance to anything. It is not light, because it knows light. Intelligence knows light. We have created the idea that when it's dark, it's dark. When it's light, it's light. We've read books about Christ saying, going into that. We saw videos about light and the light into God's kingdom. This is information. So this shock bears no understanding. Therefore, it cannot be described using an old-style intelligent mind, because this intelligent mind has to utilize, to disclose it using words that will send signals to your mind, and this is unfair. This is why all speakers are wrongly trying to describe what non-duality is, what consciousness is, in a more detailed way, a more self-experiential way. Because they're putting seeds of information. They're using an old-style mind of information, of words, of language, to try and juxtapose your intelligent mind when there's a whole disconnection. Because this shock destroys the intelligent mind. And what takes place in this shock is that the one that experiences this almighty shock, and for this one it was a colossal voice, not outside, not within, the whole cosmos, the whole consciousness shook itself and revealed something that is unknowable. Because to say it is knowable isn't using an intelligent mind. So what happens is there's 7 years, 9 years of grounding, of bliss, to allow this newborn, expanded version of the mind, which is much more wise, is revealed many spiritual and scientific explanations of how Earth, planets, consciousness, life was born. So it takes you to that original place that Rumi speaks about. Rumi uses poetry and parables and phrases and excellent ways to try and not reveal the words of information, but the essence and the feeling of pure, wise, essential connecting to life beyond the original informative mind into this newborn mind. This is a newborn mind for this speaker. This is the same world, the same body, the same names, but it's newborn. It's seen completely different. It's seen completely different. It's not seen from the eyes, it's seen from here. That's all you can say. You're not looking from the head. The head is dead. The head only appears to be alive when alcohol has been consumed, or there's a migraine, or some sort of... The information of the head is very basic, very simple. Now, the 7 years allows this newborn mind to accept new ways. Now, to reveal the new ways, it cannot be done using old-style language, old-style information. So you know there's a transition from within, that you've moved, whatever you are has moved into a new version of mind. Christ uses it religiously, spiritually. You're reborn. But you're not reborn. The body's not done anything. The body's not even part of this. The consciousness is not even part of this. The mind is making its own transition. It's making its own transition. This shock is unexplainable. And it's unfair to come on here and say, this is how it is, because you're not explaining that what was before. You're explaining what that was experienced through the wisdom, using old stale information. No wonder many will be confused. But it is a hope that a few don't listen to the information, don't listen to the speaker, don't listen to the experiences. Listen to yourself listening to it. Listen to yourself listening to that what is not really being spoken. So don't take anything as informative, entertainment. There's nothing really taking place here. There's just some human body blurbing a mixture of information, or appears to be information, through wisdom being seen in its almighty state, with a limited old-style conditioned mind able to project it and give it to another. That's why most really ultimate enlightened beings, they use simple utterings, simple parables, because they cannot express that what is unexpressible. You can't even say this shock is beautiful to your sensory emotional body, yes, but it can't speak. It cannot project exactly what it experiences on the roller coaster. It has to use a mind. It has to use information. It has to use names and identities. So to say the shock was God gives you information on something that you, which is unfair to you, that you will make assumptions of, you will make pictures of, you will have preconceived ideas of. To say consciousness is an essence is to say, well, I don't get that. And that is good information, because you don't get it. But if you try and solve this puzzle, I want to get it, so I'll look up some books of information, listen to other speakers for more information. You're going to get jumbled up in information. You just listen to what is behind the words, what is within the words. And I'm going to go on with part 2 to give you an idea of what words will do to help you understand this availability to be reborn. Not availability to be enlightened, awakened. These are all components of being the mind expanding into a more profound and new way that will benefit your children, your grandchildren, because you will convey in a more being way to them rather than a human way. When the speaker goes off this chair, and goes onto the world. He becomes a human. When the speaker is on the chair, he's trying to replicate being. Being meaning presence, meaning here. Using some vocal system, hoping that consciousness comes and speaks on his behalf. Not all the time. I hope the whole series of whatever has been projected can be denied, but that what is behind it can help you reveal a rebirth of mind, because consciousness only is dependent on mind to reiterate to itself what it is. Consciousness wants to see its whole genuine self. It doesn't want to see an intelligent self only. It wants to see the wise self, the loving self, the complete self. You're here to replicate that, but in your own time. In your own time, if you know what time is, then very good, because a wise person does not know what time is. That sounds like, oh, the wise person is foolish. No, time is an intelligent formula. It is a formula. It is something that has been created. It has been made up through a mind of intelligence. Wisdom is to not accept the intelligence alone. Wisdom is to accept the intelligence when it needs the intelligence, but to go beyond the intelligence, to see something more. Not something better or beneficial, but something more than what intelligence is. It's an opportunity for you to discover your true self, your true mind, your whole mind. It's an opportunity to involve and transcend and help this human race to move on out of this egoistic, stuck, intelligent way. Because intelligence just goes around in circles. It's called samsara. It's not about how the body lives. It's about what we do. We build. We destroy. We build. We destroy. We build. We destroy. Each time we appear to be building bigger or better. But we have more bigger and better bombs to destroy them. And I'm not dismissing this intelligence, because it's in the process of doing it for each individual that makes them feel good about themselves. So please join me in part 2, and I will finish this off, completely finish this off, this whole need to be here, and give you the greatest teaching, the greatest way that is possible for some of you to discover something really genuine and true about the mind that you dwell within, the consciousness that you dwell within. And you may I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say, because it cannot be expressed through words. That's what the saints mean by silence, keep quiet. They are projecting something unique, something what the intelligent mind would come pure godly, pure Brahman, pure Atman state. But the best way to share it is to just remain present and allow this wisdom to just move out into this incredible universe with the hope that something catches on. See you in part 2. Namaste. Om. Thank you.